Hey folks. The main protagonist of the Legend of Zelda series, Link, has a lot of history and lore around his character, from being a chosen hero to save an entire kingdom of people, to being a goofy wee island boy whose sister got kidnapped by a bird. Link has appeared in every mainline game in the series, across multiple timelines, various styles, and lots of different backgrounds behind him. But one thing that to this day still remains rather complicated and mysterious is his family. We rarely see the hero's family, and when we do, it's never more than one or two members, nor is it ever his mother or father. You'd think, after 30 plus years of adventures, we'd know a little bit more about those who raised the hero in green and blue, but we actually know very little about Link's family tree as a whole. Link has rather complicated family lore, and in today's video we're going to dive into this and try and find out why we know very little, as well as investigate some of the mysteries surrounding his family. Be sure to go and grab yourself a snack and drink, folks. Subscribe if you aren't already, it really helps the channel out. And let's take a peek at Link's complicated family lore. Let's start with the family we do know of that we see in-game, and possible implications that come from them, starting with the 1991 classic, A Link to the Past. In the opening of this game, we meet Link's uncle, a former knight to the royal family, Link's only guardian and parental figure. They live together in this home not too far from Hyrule Castle. Link is woken up in the middle of the night by a telepathic call from Zelda, a plea. Link finds his uncle about to leave with a sword and shield ready in hand. He also tells Link to remain home and promises his return in the morning. However, Link doesn't listen, and shortly after follows his uncle's path into the castle, only to find his uncle badly hurt and beat down. On his last legs, Link's uncle gives him the task to save Princess Zelda, and before passing away, he teaches Link how to spin attack. That's where his uncle's story ends, and Link is left with no family left in this adventure. The fact that it was already just himself and his uncle begs a lot of questions regarding where his parents are, if they're still alive, or how he came to be living with his uncle. Perhaps it was to enroll Link into knight training and his uncle lives closer to the castle, or perhaps something else happened to his parents that we just don't know. The next family appearance we see comes in the 2002 release, The Wind Waker. We meet both Link's younger sister, Hyrule, and his grandma. They all live on Outset Island in the southwest of the Great Sea. We first meet Hyrule as she wakes up Link at the very beginning of the game for his birthday. She gives Link a telescope, which is later used to kick off the adventure as we investigate things around the island from a distance. We shortly after meet Grandma, and she gives Link the hero's clothes, a traditional green tunic given to boys when they come of age. The cute and cozy situation, which seems rather nice here, is very quickly torn apart by the beginning of this game, as it sees Hyrule kidnapped by the Helmarok King, a bird under the orders of Ganondorf, looking for Princess Zelda. This kidnapping sets Link off on an adventure at sea to go and rescue his little sister, and in a very emotional fashion, we see just how much all of this is affecting Grandma. One grandchild kidnapped, the other setting off with pirates to try and save her. If you haven't cried at seeing Grandma upset in The Wind Waker, then have you really played The Wind Waker? This game is probably the best look at Link's family, and the fact that it's just two members says a lot for the rest of the series. Hyrule is eventually rescued and returned to safety, and we do visit back home to see Grandma throughout the game, and get some of her delicious soup in doing so. But there isn't much elaboration on the rest of his family in this game, and where they are. Once again, Link is living with a relative of his parents, and yet again, his parents are never mentioned or even hinted at, which is particularly odd in this game as they live on this small island. It's possible that due to the seaside nature of this world that their parents got lost at sea or something, leaving just Link, Hyrule, and Grandma, but that's speculation. There aren't tons of other islands that people live on, and we don't meet anybody who might be the parents of these kids and child of Grandma. No hints, no lookalikes. It's puzzling, isn't it? The next and last family member we see in-game comes in the 2004 release, The Minish Cap. Banger 2D game, by the way. Similar to A Link to the Past, Link lives with his grandfather, Smith, the local blacksmith and one who introduces Link into swords. He himself is a former swordsman turned blacksmith and is a good friend of the king. Master Smith forges the Smith Sword for the winner of the sword fighting tournament at the Picori Festival, seen in the game's opening. Throughout the course of the game, Link can return home to speak to his grandfather, and he'll be happy to give Link some guidance and hints as to what he should do next in the game. He's quite knowledgeable. When Princess Zelda is turned to stone by Vati, it's Smith that suggests Link seek out the Minish for help. He knows his swords very well, and even fought the king in the tournament once to a draw, as well as the fact that he can help Link out on what to do next in the game. He knows stuff. Perhaps once upon a time he was a bit of a hero himself. Once again, the existence of Smith and only him in terms of Link's family members begs a lot of questions. What happened to his parents this time? These characters are the only family members we actually see in the game, and there are no hints to the rest of his family from the family we do see. It's a reoccurring theme in these games. Not only do family members rarely show up in general, but it's never his parents. Not even just one of them. There are a few very small hints and mentions of these family mysteries in a few games, so let's take a look at those now that we've gone over the family we actually see. Prior to the events of Ocarina of Time, we learn about an awful war which burned the land. During these events, a mother with her baby boy escaping this warfare entered the forbidden forest of the Lost Woods in Kikiri Forest. She was badly hurt, and had no choice but to entrust her baby boy to the Great Deku Tree. The tree could sense that this child was a child of destiny, and took the baby in. This baby boy was Link. His mother sadly passed away shortly after these events, and that's all we ever hear about her. Link is told this by the Great Deku Tree sprout halfway through his adventure, so we learn that his mother was Hylian. Great. Riveting information. No name, no background detail. No information on Link's father, just that his mother existed, obviously, and managed to bring him to safety from the war. That's his mother's story, but what about his dad? Well, it's likely given his family history discussed so far, and more we'll get into shortly, that his dad was off fighting in this war as a knight. Perhaps he died in combat or sometime after this war. Regardless, his mentioned mother and unmentioned father are both mysterious characters we know very little about, and for no particular reason. Not even in game manuals or books for Ocarina of Time are they mentioned, bar the manga, but that's not canon. Link was just a baby, so the chances of him even remembering his parents are unlikely. In a much more recent game, Breath of the Wild, we get a very brief mention of one of Link's parents, this time his father. In the 11th memory, Shelter from the Storm, Princess Zelda mentions that Link's sword skills match that of his father's, a man who was alive pre-Calamity, over 100 years ago. We never see him in any memories, and he isn't mentioned anywhere else explicitly in the game like this. However, in the Japanese version of the Creating a Champion book, Masterworks, we find concept art depicting Link, his father, and presumably his sister. Now, I need to clarify that this is just concept art. It doesn't mean he had a sister in the game, but it does imply there was the idea. So for fun, we can think about the idea that he might have had a present father and sister in his life before the Great Calamity. His dad was a knight as well, and he takes on a very large, strong build. If I had to guess, I'd imagine he'd be a blacksmith if not a knight, or move on to blacksmithing after being a knight, much like Smith from the Minish Cap. His sister in this artwork is holding a cuckoo, so perhaps she was involved or interested in farming and farm life. We know Link is originally from Hateno Village, and there is a big farming culture there, so it's very possible that they had some farmland. The confusing part about this is that his mother is now absent, unmentioned entirely in fact. These games just can't give Link a nice and simple family life. Could his mother have died at birth, left them for an unknown reason? We simply don't know. It's just so odd that there's always something, and you could say, sure, Zelda just didn't mention his mother in this scene, but why in the concept art is it just his father and sister? We simply don't know. It's just so odd that there's always something, usually more than one thing, to complicate Link's family life. And of course, the time we do get artwork for a parent in a mainline game, it just so happens to be from 100 years ago before the world went up. Cheers, Nintendo. And beyond all of those complications, there is one more to throw into this mix. The Hero's Shade, a ghostly knight that Link meets multiple times throughout Twilight Princess. He appears as a golden wolf in the real world, but when approached he pounces Link and takes the hero into another realm of some sorts. This is where we meet the Shade. He teaches Link hidden skills to use in combat throughout his adventure, including the final blow used to finish off Ganondorf in the final boss battle. However, this mysterious Shade is actually Link. It's said that the Hero's Shade is actually the spirit of the Hero of Time from Ocarina of Time, so technically speaking, this is another family member of Link's, just distantly related as these two games take place a wee bit apart from each other. That's all we know about Link's family. That is the complicated lore of Link's family. Both characters we actually see appear, and ones we only hear about, or don't know the full details of. It's extremely complicated as you can see, but is there any reason for this? Why did the developers keep Link's family so extremely mysterious and complicated? Well, outside of epic dungeons, beautiful landscapes, exhilarating combat, mind-boggling puzzles, and so on, Zelda games are kept interesting by their mysteries and lore. Us fans absolutely love delving into them and discussing them online through videos, chats, forums, and so on. And what better to keep mysterious and complicated than those closest to the protagonist? And they manage to do it all whilst not making it much of a focal point. It's almost become sort of a given that Link's family will not be present or kept rather mysterious. But yet, there is always a rabbit hole to go down. I wanted to make this video because the lore of his family isn't always discussed about much, and that's probably just because it's became a given that, yeah, his family's not present. So I wanted to make this video to sort of tie it all into one, and discuss some of the mysteries with it. Perhaps in the next big 3D mainline Zelda game we'll see a bit more of his family return, but whether that's seeing one or both of his parents actually appear as we play, I'm not too confident, as it's never happened. But at the same time, you never know. I'd personally love to see Link have a present mother, father, and sibling or two. It'd be something new, and pretty cool to see. Thanks a ton for watching. That is Link's complicated family lore. Do you think we'll ever see more of Link's family appear in a game, ever? Leave a comment down below with your thoughts and what you thought of the video. I'd really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe for more fabulous Zelda content, as well as drop a wee like down below. A massive thanks goes to my channel supporters for the financial backing of my channel. Supporting through channel memberships or Patreon massively helps to make these videos possible, and as a supporter, you'll get a weekly inside scoop from myself, as well as your name at the end of all of my videos, plus a wee shout out when you join. The links to support can be found in the description, as can my Twitter, Instagram, and Discord server if you'd like to check those out. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day or night, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.